Halloween, and just the month of October in general, is my favorite time of the year. Everything's cooling down, I watch some of the greatest movies ever made.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
And bust out a Spooky Gamer 3. It's good times all around. As such, I wanted to swing big for my Halloween special. I was going to do this big anthology thing, right? This Creepshow style feature-length look at a bunch of shorter games I wanted to talk about because indie horror devs are absolutely cooking these days. It was going to be a big undertaking, sure, but I felt confident I could make it happen. I started planning ahead in the summer. I banked footage and scripts for Rogue Squadron and Turok to have those ready to go, figured out what kind of time I'd need to set aside to play and record a separate, really long game for later, and planned to start capturing footage for the Halloween special around the end of August, first week of September at the latest. The plan was perfect, absolutely perfect, down to the last minute detail. And then Team Cherry came in and ruined everything. As soon as that release date was announced, I knew I had to pivot to fit Silksong into my schedule. Like and subscribe and click the notification bell, wink wink wink. I tabled my original idea and came up with a plan B. Looking over my backlog spreadsheet, yes I have one of those, everyone should, I kept circling back to one title in particular. This particular game would fit the bill quite nicely and also features the added bonus of being somewhat relevant because there's a name attached to it that hasn't been attached to a video game in almost 2 decades until the streak was broken by a recent announcement.
I have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker.
From my personal experience, most people's knowledge of Clive Barker's work begins and ends with Hellraiser, maybe the Books of Blood if they like that miniseries Hulu made a few years back. Which is a shame, and means I should also maybe expand my social circle a little bit. Weaveworld, Imagica, and Galilee are all amazing novels. Nightbreed is a love letter to the freaks of the world, and also awakened a few things in me. And the less you know about Midnight Meat Train going into a first-time watch, the better. Clive Barker's Jericho is the third game he worked on, after a point-and-click adaptation of Nightbreed, and an original title called Undying, which I haven't played myself but have heard is pretty good. Jericho is the one I've always wanted to check out, though. I remember seeing ads for it in magazines in the mid-aughts, these striking, visceral yellow ochre 2-page spreads of a howling monster. It was published by Codemasters, who have been around for a while but seem to be keeping the lights on with the F1 series of all things. Actual development duties were handled by Mercurysteam. Okay, these guys are Spanish, they made one of American McGee's games and the hacky-slashy Castlevania Lords of Shadow duology. I haven't played those, but I have played 2 of their more high-profile recent releases. See, they got the chance to work with Nintendo on Metroid, specifically the remake of 2 called Samus Returns, and then the first actual new entry that series got in over a decade, Metroid Dread. I have contentious opinions on both. 90% of both Samus Returns and Dread are very good, excellent even, with rewarding exploration and solid level design. But I despise their approach to boss fights. Major encounters in both games have these highly specific sequences of things you have to do to be able to open up the bosses for damage. The fights felt less like a back-and-forth battle requiring me to act and react and position carefully, and more like I was methodically scanning grocery items through a checkout. And don't get me started on the goddamn insta-kill hunter robots in Dread. Well, K-10, actually, there's a tiny parry opportunity, so it's not technically. It's like a 3-frame window, and I'm not Daigo, shut up. If they knew these things were such a problem that they literally give you a special respawn point outside their patrol zones when you get got by them, where every other death in the game sends you back to a save point, maybe that's a sign you should rethink things a little. I'm getting off topic. After all, Samus Returns and Dread were recent. Jericho came out in 2007. The team back then probably doesn't have much personnel overlap with the team now. Maybe back then they had a different design ethos. Whatever the case, this game is classic abandonware. I found the ISO on the Internet Archive for Pete's sake. Reviews at the time were pretty middling, but hey, there should be at least something in here worth highlighting. They had Clive frickin' Barker in their corner. How bad could things possibly be? So a lot of this game's story and lore is divulged via these typewriter sequences on the loading screens. Very slowly.
It's happening again.
Where is this?
This is where it
all started.
This isn't real.
It's as real as your soul. Help me.
3 in the morning. You felt it too? When? Oh, shit. Okay. I'll see you at the airfield. They call us the Jericho Squad. We are the top-secret combat arm of the U.S. Army Chaplains Corps.
Wait, is he just monologuing to everyone in the chopper, or...? Our player vehicle Ross here and his merry band of witchy misfits have been tasked with entering the ancient city of Al-Khali and apprehending a nefarious character named Arnold Leach who's up to no good. It's a slow start, but I didn't expect things to go full bloogie-woogie-woo right away.
You don't seriously think we can walk through that?
Man, I think I'm gonna be digging sand out of every crack for the next 5 months.
I'm sure Abby can help you with that.
Captain Ross, do you read me?
Ross here. Jericho is in country.
Lieutenant Colonel Aklin of the Swiss Guard. Welcome to the Rub Al-Khali.
What's the sit rep, Colonel?
This is what we know, Captain. The research facility here was attacked 2 days ago by a force of unknown size aligned with a fringe religious sect called the Brotherhood of the Dark Rapture. The defenders were overrun, but not before making one last transmission.
The vicinity of Al-Khali is under attack. Send reinforcements as soon as possible. Hurry, please! We can't hold it off long.
Okay, we're rocking a rifle. Secondary fire is a master key, that's pretty neat. What kind of sidearm do we have? None. Alright. Walking forward puts us in a loading screen. I watched the cutscene and walked like 100 feet. What is there to possibly load? Well, apparently, the most mid-aughts game feature of all time. QuickTime events. Oh, no. Despite all the crumbling ruins and noseless statues sinking into the desert sands, the real relic here is the color palette. I sometimes think modern games can get a little too busy visually, but at least everything doesn't look like it was dunked in wood varnish. I get a quick introduction to the squad commands via a tooltip. You can use the mouse wheel to tell your buddies to hold in place or advance all at once. Not a bad idea to put it on the scroll wheel since, no sidearm.
U.S. Army, halt! Show me your hands!
Easy, guys. They could be friendlies.
They're not stopping.
Okay, the idea that members of the US military would have this much trigger discipline in the Middle East in 2007 is probably the most unrealistic thing in the game. One thing is made very clear to you in this first firefight. The enemies are spongy, like those big fluffy yellow ones. I guess they had to be because you have 7 sources of damage output, but you'll put enough lead into each enemy that their bodies would set off metal detectors at 100 yards. And that's not counting the blade arms and barbed wire around their heads. As squad leader, Ross has a blue aura heal that can pick up downed allies. The scripting governing the audio cues seems a bit off, though.
Hang on, Abby! Help's coming!
Pussies.
Captain.
Ross,
Who's there?
Ross?
Shh. Listen.
we've been expecting you.
Over there, look. Don't move! I think it wants us to follow.
Or we could just, not. I love that Church goes out of her way to say this.
You should hurry. I don't know how long before it closes again. You don't want to be halfway through when it does, know what I mean?
And then Ross jaws on for another couple seconds, like, dude, she just warned you. Inside this bunker, we learn that Rawlings, while a priest, isn't exactly the most, stringent follower of what they teach in seminary school.
Well, it's me, Paul.
You're one of them! I know it!
Muriel, I swear it's me, Paul Rawlings. We met in '96. I was your handler in Chechnya, then Sudan.
What about Prague?
Prague, 1999. New Year's Eve at the Hotel Bohemia. We danced a Cole Porter tune sung in Czech, then drank ourselves stupid on absinthe. I'm afraid my memory gets a bit fuzzy after that.
I thought you were a priest.
I am a priest.
Well, what about Prague?
I'm also human.
I mean, it's better than what most priests get up to in their off hours. Back with the crew, we're introduced to a new enemy, these mutated cultists with a bunch of boils you need to pop to kill them. The AI for the squad is not the best at hitting them. They tend to aim directly at center mass. It kind of works when they all hose down one enemy at a time, but they're not aiming with the kind of precision needed for consistency. That's mainly my job. Also, these bloated bastards explode when they die. Wonderful. Just when I'm beginning to wonder where the ammo pickups are, this happens.
like you need your own medicine.
So, wait, we just have infinite bullets? How the hell does that work?
Expendables replenished, sir.
Wait, Cole resupplies us? How? Turns out she can futz with time to a limited degree via quantum physics and, rewind everyone's pockets to when they had ammo in them. It's a neat idea, though as always, the risk with time travel stuff is that it can lead to plot holes. But Clive Barker wrote this, I'm sure he thought things through. Something that's really starting to mess with me is that the non-exploding cultist enemies don't leave corpses. In a move I presume was made in order to not have the game lag, dead enemies are consumed by a pack of locusts. Cool idea in theory, it becomes kind of annoying with how the swarm clutters the screen and distracts from the active enemies that are still threats.
They're coming into the bunker! Paul, hurry!
Muriel! Pick it up, guys! Double time!
Wait, hang on, we're back at the bunker? How does that make any sense with the path we took? Is reality starting to buckle around us? The Jerichos never allude to that kind of thing.
Rawlings.
I sent her here. I thought we needed space. I was afraid someone might find out.
This is likely to cause a considerable amount of dimensional displacement, sir. You may want to step outside.
Ross, we got company!
Okay, hold up and defend the point. It's just this for 3 minutes.
Cole, what have you got for me?
Alkali sits atop a 7-point intersection of ley lines. Leech has pinpointed this intersection and made a substantial blood sacrifice to open the dimensional rift.
Yes, but to open a portal of that size, he'd have to kill thousands. The Brotherhood only number a couple of hundred at best.
Doesn't matter. Leech is a tantrist. Casters like Leech, they build up a charge.
A karma bomb. Sir, I've pinpointed the exact location of the breach. I've also detected something coming through it.
You know the drill, guys. Form up and move out!
Jericho keeps pushing through the ancient city as Leech starts piping up from somewhere, being all ominous and spooky.
Leech.
And how have you been, Devin? Getting no sleep?
I'm gonna cook you, you piece of shit.
So no, then.
This has been a really rough opening act, I'll admit, it's just this over and over again. But there's probably some real good trademark fucked up Barker stuff coming down the pipe, I know it. I also feel it pertinent to bring up that at this point in the story, most of the Jerichos only know about Leech and that he's up to some shit. They don't know that the ancient city they're battling through is actually the site of an extra-dimensional prison for a being called the Firstborn, a prototype for mankind that God abandoned but couldn't destroy. I, as a player, do know this because I read the game's manual and the loading screen text crawls. It feels really out of place that they're going with this angle where only Rawlings knows the truth about what they're doing, and it gets even more contrived once you get to this circular arena and the team figures out that something's up anyway.
Priest, you better get explaining.
Operation God Seal. It's the reason Jericho exists. There's an ancient Gnostic text that speaks of a being created before man. Wait, I know this. God couldn't destroy his first creation, so he locked it away, banished from the earth so he could start over again. Then he made mankind, and he gave us flaws to keep the balance right. But the Firstborn was jealous. And its rage could not be contained. It's been waiting, accumulating power.
What? You believe that apocalyptic horse shit?
It doesn't matter if you believe it, there have been plenty throughout history who have. Whatever lies on the other side of the breach has been calling to Leech and others like him in the hopes that someone could set it free.
Same old story. Every time we discover some fucked up ancient force, some asshole back in Langley wants us to put a collar around it and make it our pet.
No, we were trying to contain it.
Then the spooky baby appears again, and I'm railroaded into doing what it wants because otherwise the rest of the plot wouldn't happen. Ross gets shredded by Leech and his soul? Ghost? Essence? Schlorps its way into Delgado. With no other option, the team has to delve into the swirling doom vortex. Through the Doom portal, the team quickly realizes that even though they left Ross's body behind, he's still along for the ride, because Mercurysteam probably wasn't paying Steve Bloom to be in the game for only 45 minutes.
No, we're not all here. We lost Ross.
I'm still with you.
What?
There's someone in there with him.
I can feel it!
Delgado, can you hear me?
Rawlings, it's me, Ross. I don't know what happened. I think I'm in him.
Phrasing?
Put those away, damn it. It's me.
Prove it.
Jesus Christ, Paul. Should I tell them about Prague, or do you want to trust me on this one?
Well, no shit.
Now, as Ross, you can bounce between the members of Jericho's squad to assume direct control of each one. They have varying opinions on the matter.
Where's Frank? What have you done with him?
He's still here. He's just resting.
Resting my ass, puto? Get the fuck out of my head!
Asshole.
Abby, can you hear me?
Ross? I hate this! Get out! You're smothering me!
If you need my blood magic, you can link to me when you need to. Just don't screw up, or you'll have to deal with Frank. Captain Ross, if you need to jump to me, you have my permission.
You sure you're okay with that, Cole? It's kind of, invasive.
You're just another network, sir.
There's several journeyman voice actors in this that you'll probably at least recognize. Rawlings is James Horan, Jones is Jamison Price, Abigail is Cindy Robinson, Church is Kate Higgins. Leech is voiced by Jim Cummings of all people in one of his seemingly endless instances of how are these two characters voiced by the same person?
I am sorry, Kevin, but it's you he wants.
No stuff and fluff.
The squad figures out that they're back in a bunker complex from the Second World War, presently lorded over by one Hannah Lichthammer.
Welcome to the Path of Souls. You will contribute your face in time. Embrace me as your mistress, or your souls will pave the way for our glorious army.
The firstborn?
I don't think so.
How are these assholes still alive? That was like, what, 70 years ago?
65.
What about the previous squad? How did they close the breach?
We don't know. They never came back out.
Well, that's just fucking beautiful. Maybe they left us a note.
Delgado, holster your goddamn weapon.
Frank, what's wrong with you?
I didn't sign up for no fucking suicide mission.
If you're gonna point that at me, you better use it. Ah! What have you done?
Oh, fuck.
Frank, stop
What the
it!
hell is wrong with you, man?
Paul!
Delgado, stand down! Abby, constrict him.
Sir, do you think you can resurrect him?
One way to find out. Everybody stand back.
Jones, I want you to place this man under arrest.
Don't do it, Jones. He's lying. What else isn't he telling us?
Delgado, you accidentally discharged your weapon.
That was no accident.
Right, Delgado?
Sure. An accident.
This isn't over.
I'm sure this moment of inter-squad drama will be followed up on for a proper narrative arc, right? Right?
Lichthammer, I am Father Paul Rawlings of the United States Army Chaplain Corps. The war is over. The fatherland has fallen. Let us pass, and we will do what we can to release you and your men from this purgatory.
Arrogant bastard! You dare to address me? I will tear your manhood from you and feed it to your victuals!
Lichthammer was a powerful psychic in her own right. There's no telling what she's capable of now that she's been assimilated by the firstborn.
Apparently, what she's capable of is just teleporting in front of the squad and trying to punch us in the face. Is this how this is supposed to go? Is my game glitched? Now that all the squad members are available to be mind-jacked, I experiment with the team through a few fights. You'd think that the beef castle with the fire snake spirit and the minigun would be the most useful, or perhaps the priest with a ranged heal. You would be wrong. The two most useful members of Jericho Squad are Simone Cole and Abby Black, the hacker and the sniper, because apparently they're the only two members of the team that remembered to bring explosives. Abby's sniper rifle has regular shots that deal great damage, they one-tap the blade arm cultist enemies if you hit them in the noggin, and has an underslung rocket launcher. Cole somehow carries 20 goddamn grenades that you can set to various timers, but I just set them to impact because the enemies like to root themselves in one spot and make themselves easy targets. Where is she keeping them all? Who the hell knows? And remember, each of these ammo reserves are fully replenished after every fight, so there is literally no reason not to mainly control either woman because leaving them in the hands of the AI results in them not using their most effective tools in the most effective way. When I had to go with someone else, either by circumstance or my own poor judgment, I always went for either Church or Delgado. Church's machine pistol hits like a water gun, but her sword deals heavy damage up close and pairs nicely with her blood magic seal that roots enemies in place. Delgado's minigun has a ton of ammo and can hose down enemies, which the AI never seems to use it for, by the way, and his Magnum sidearm can reliably 2 or 3 tap things. His offensive Fire Snake summon is decent enough, but lacks real impact, and he's a bit of a slow, chunky monkey. Avoid Jones and Rawlings at all costs. Jones has the same basic bagel rifle master key combo that Ross had in the opening and astral projection powers, which are next to useless in combat save for a few set-piece puzzles, and I'll get to those. Rawlings is a little better with his ranged heal and ability to set his pistols to frag or explosive bullets, but here's the problem with him. The game's AI seems to prioritize using him to revive downed allies, which you can also do via Ross when you're controlling someone else. So assuming direct control of Rawlings cuts your squad's available healers in half, with no trade-off benefit to compensate. Something you've probably noticed by now is how searing all the lighting is. You see it in the debris fires a little, but it becomes really obnoxious in the muzzle flashes of the squad's guns. I quadruple checked the options menu for bloom and ambient occlusion options to try to preserve my retinas, but there are none. Mercurysteam apparently didn't feel like it warranted time and effort to code in modifiers for those graphics settings. Clearly it was more important to make sure that the jiggle physics on Church's chest worked. I'm handheld through a puzzle utilizing Jones's astral projection abilities, which isn't a bad idea in theory. There's a game called Geist that's wholly built around that premise. However, this first one where the solution is right in front of you is the only one that isn't a giant pain in the ass. Turns out we're not the only ones in here. These gas mask Brits are the ones who sealed the Firstborn away the last time the breach opened. They give the Jerichos the lowdown on what they're dealing with, and sweet, merciful Utu, why is the bloom like this? Like, there's seriously nothing you can do about this. Future K10 here. I know that you can edit the config file to turn this crap off, but let's be honest, leaving it on was funnier.
God creates this thing, discovers it's too bloody powerful, and decides to wipe it off the face of the earth. But he can't kill it, so he creates the Pixies, this box, if you like. It's like a little slice of reality was carved out as a toy box, and we're the toys. It doesn't go away, mind you. It just sits, and it waits for some poor, disillusioned bastard to set it free.
Wait, was this guy seriously just keeping some Matryoshka dolls in his back pocket just so he could use them as props? These firefights are already starting to blend together. Abby and Cole's supply of explosives is usually enough to get through a whole encounter, maybe with some cleanup needed from Abby's sniper rifle. Then Cole just refills everyone to full for the next one. The only time I ever do anything different is here, when the game will infinitely respawn enemies until you use Jones to clear a path. You do this by marching out of cover, then using your astral possession on one of these enemies sitting sentry up top. From here, you have to use his pyrokinesis ability on a tank to detonate it and blow up the wall. First problem, the game hasn't told you about the pyrokinesis ability yet. I only knew it was there because of a trip to the options menu earlier to rebind a key. Second, and more importantly, I'm going to pause the footage here, and I want you to guess what in this area you're supposed to interact with. It's this thing right here, this gas tank that doesn't register as a gas tank because it has no obvious visual design indicator that it will explode and you should light it on fire. The only way you know it's the thing you need to interact with is by moving the center of the screen over it just right so that this little icon pops up. Did you guess that in time? I hope you did, because that's about the window you have before Jones gets downed by the enemies because you need a clear line of sight to astral project, which means the enemies will shoot back at you. Fucking... Urgh.
I think we need a new approach, lads. Why don't a team of you go after Lichthammer, and the rest of us create a diversion? Maybe draw off some of the defenders.
The group splits up to cover both tasks needed to open the portal to the next layer. The game gives me Cole, Church, and Rawlings for the excursion to capture Lichthammer. Grenades, grenades, grenades. Of all the characters in the game, Lichthammer is the one that most needs a soapy mouth scrub.
Have you come to join us? We never turn down good flesh, especially not a man of God. How's your faith today, Father?
I've come to have a word with you, Hannah.
Only if you're prepared to beg for it.
Then again, she might be into that. This bit isn't so much a boss fight as it is a puzzle. You have to fend off the mooks until Lichthammer appears, and then use Church's blood sigil to freeze her in place. Easy peasy.
Your pimp has taught you well. So obedient. Where did you ever find them, Father?
Ignore her. Been doing this for 40 years and they still can't think of a single original thing to say.
I love to imagine Lichthammer comparing notes with Pazuzu. But of course, because I'm amused at the line and forget what year this game came out in, I relax to watch the cutscene only for this to happen. Oh my god, Rawlings keels over and dies from like instant septic shock from getting his fingers lightly chomped. Fucking quick time events, man.
That explains her reluctance to cooperate. The gateway to the next level of the Pyxis. Somehow she's absorbed it. Made herself the key to opening the breach. It's inside of her.
Phrasing.
Back with the others, this long combat encounter in this trench throws so many enemies at me that I willingly switch to Delgado to use his minigun because I actually start to run out of ammo. But any tension that might have generated is sucked away when Cole restocks everyone mid-firefight, so legitimately what is the point of having limited ammo at all? And did I mention that with Jones' astral projection thing you have to hold multiple buttons down and if you let off for even a split second you snap back?
We need you, Billy. You're the only one skilled in sanguimancy.
What do I do?
Spill her blood and open the gateway. Hurry! We can't hold her much longer.
He's deceived you all! Kill me and there's no way back to your world!
For God's sake, do it!
Please! Please! Help me, Philomena!
Only my daddy called me Wilhelmina. My name's Billy. Ugh.
So, no incantation or anything, then?
That looks like your train.
Aren't you coming?
Wouldn't do you much good, I'm afraid. The Firstborns had plenty of time to get to know us. It can smell us centuries away. We'd be more a liability than a help. Besides, we have to take precautions, just in case, see?
In case what?
In case you don't succeed. You can't close the breach.
Someone's got to stay behind and make sure the next lot make it through. Such is the fate of Jericho, I'm sorry to say. Life's great reward.
Sir, the breach is weakening. We need to go.
Oh, and Captain, once you get on the other side, get to the fortress as fast as you can. The Templars will tell you the rest.
Did he say Templars?
Holy shit, everyone, an environment that isn't rendered unreadable by overtuned graphical effects. The squad has to ford a literal river of blood to get to the Templars that the Blackwatch squad told us about. There's flying enemies now, that's new. Maybe now we'll finally see some new enemy mobs that require different, and it's just the same cultists as before. God, this canyon is gigantic and the enemies are so small and it just keeps going and going and going. Holy shit, that thing's freaky. What am I gonna have to do to kill it? It is at this moment that I am struck by a simple, profound realization.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Something went really wrong at some point during the making of Clive Barker'S Jericho. What little coherent good design the game has begins to fall away piece by piece as you play through the Crusade section. From here on out, the game keeps finding new lows to sink to. It doesn't help that the game's plot requires the Jericho squad to be really stupid and fall for obvious traps. See following the obviously malevolent ghost child before, and this bit here.
Omega Team, suppressing fire. Alpha Team, across the bridge now. No!
You cannot help them. They belong to the children now. The damned ones can smell your souls. It calls to them like fresh carrion to a jackal. We must get you inside. This way. Stay close, brothers.
What about our men? We're not leaving without them.
You cannot help them now. Please, this way. All will be explained soon.
It's a trap!
I have delivered the heathens as you requested, Your Grace.
I mean, it does kind of make sense that Mr. Deus Vult here would fall for believing Leech is an angel. The Crusaders weren't exactly the smartest bunch. At least with the squad split in two, they gave me 3 of the more useful members to fight through the sewers with. Even then, Abby is just the single most useful character.
Check on church!
How many is that?
Fire, bitch!
I still can't get over that they just defaulted to the same cultist enemies and— Wait! Hold on for one goddamn second. According to the visual feedback here, by failing this grab QTE, Abby just got outright decapitated by this enemy. But I can just walk up to her and pick her back up? So Ross can put people's heads back on right, but Rawlings can't heal a few scratches? Are you kidding me? Wish.com Pinhead here tells us that the Firstborn was unleashed in this era by a failed children's crusade, and that to get out of here we need to deal with the bishop responsible for the mess, Maltheus. Further down, the scripting breaks at this door and I need to reset the checkpoint. Awesome, love that. Once I reload and it works properly, Church goes off on her own. They just had to give the solo section to the woman with the machine pistol that may as well be firing rock salt. Another QTE section gives me a nice up-close look at the zombie Templars, which do look sick, but is then undercut by another instant death upon missing one prompt. Fuck you. You get access to Church's second power down here, this fiery ward that deals damage over time, which I know I saw the AI use earlier during the Alkali chapters, so why the hell was it locked off until now for me? Oh, and both her powers require her to be at full health to use because they damage her, so you'll be getting some nice earfuls of— until you get to this switch and let the others through. Venturing onward, the trio fords some battlements. The flying enemies now come with shields that are somehow able to withstand explosive shells. Fucking what? This is honestly the hardest part of the game due to only having 3 people to work with. I get wiped a couple times here. And yet, I persist. Next section has me maining Delgado because the enemies are mostly the exploding assholes that the AI just insists on shooting solely in center mass, which does nothing. From there I delve into this ominous passage full of spirits that got lost when Peck deactivated the containment unit. Never mind. These kids might be attacking thinking that the Jerichos would be too moral to use firearms on children. But we're from America. Everyone enjoy this, it's the last good piece of writing we're gonna get.
I think Cole got the worst of it. You know she has problems. Fear of the dark, fear of being touched, fear of tight spaces.
Let me talk to her.
Don't touch me!
It's okay, Simone. Tell me about that number you like so much. The Golden Principle. Was that what you called it?
This isn't real! Nothing here is real!
How did that number go, Simone? You called it something. Phi?
Phi! Phi! The divine proportion.
Phi, right. How did that go?
1.6 180
Good. Now, let's lower the gun.
7498
With the team back together, it's on through the catacombs and into another massive goddamn arena to fight Maltheus.
Have you come to confess your sins, my children?
We were just leaving.
How dare you defile this holy place and make demands, heretic? You reek of sin! Kneel before me and be cleansed!
What follows is one of the most poorly designed boss battles I've ever experienced in any game, shooter or otherwise. Pontiff Pederast here shields himself to get protection from the angry kindergarten ghost coming out of every crevice to try to kill him. But apparently, not all the ghosts were given the memo because they still attack us, and they're still as tanky as they were downstairs. Then, while still shielded, Malthius will float over to you, stop for a second, and unleash a gigantic area of effect attack that deals enough damage to instantly down any of the Jerichos. Meaning yes, if the whole squad gets caught in it, it's an instant wipe and checkpoint reload. Visually, it's obvious he's doing something, he starts floating up, but there is zero indication that the attack he's about to let rip is as devastating as it is. A good game might indicate that with, say, an audio cue of a lightning arc getting louder, some visual flourishes like bolts of power around him, an over-the-top line of dialogue about divine judgment or something. None of those are even clever game design, that's basic game design. Also, how big is the area covered by the attack? Well, seeing as Jones is outside of the giant red aura but gets knocked down anyway, who the fuck knows? And because the blast zone is so large, the only character that can reliably get clear is, once again, Cole using her ability to slow down time, which means that most of the time, 4 or 5 of the Jerichos get downed, which means that you have to pick them all up during the only part of this cycle that the boss has no shield and is vulnerable. If you choose to wait a few seconds to take the opportunity to deal damage, you run the risk of getting swarmed and overwhelmed by the pack of way too tanky ghost children that spawn when he throws up his no-no zone again. This means that the most effective way to fight this boss is to painstakingly chip away at his health, cycle after cycle after cycle, all while the music loops over and over and over and the goddamn ghost children keep screeching!
No! Children, their wickedness must not go unpunished! I command you in the name of Christ, rend their souls! Oh. I loved you. I loved you all. You are my children. My sweet, sweet children.
Terrible. Awful. We have to have hit rock bottom. Surely, this is the limit of the ineptness, right? Right? At this point, I'm only forging onward because of the name attached to this game. Clive Barker has written some of the greatest sicko mode fiction ever. There's got to be something worthwhile in here, some crumb of goodness I can savor. And hey, we're in Roman times now. Mr. Clive interdimensional BDSM entities Barker should have a field day in here. The chapter starts with a new enemy, these gladiators, who seem to be designed with the idea that you shoot them when they peek around their shields to hurl javelins. Yeah, we're not doing that. Oh, we're back to the same basic bullet sponge enemies we've been fighting the whole game. Isn't that exhilarating? The poor crucified guy here tells us that he's part of Jericho's ancient precursor and that the governor of this prefecture, Vicus, was a level of depraved that even Caligula took a look at him and went, no. So of course, we have to find Vicus to get to the heart of the Firstborn's prison. Inside the bath complex, I get to use Delgado's second power in the one instance of it being useful to navigate a fiery room and hook back around to open a door for the others. An ambush follows, and I hose down infinitely spawning enemies for several minutes until I realize the scripting probably broke again and restart the checkpoint. After another few minutes of this, I just start firing wildly in frustration and eventually open a door with a bullet. Mercurysteam, come on! Having these massive environments means nothing if you don't utilize them in interesting ways. Just having them be kill boxes for the same basic, no-thought-required enemy types I've been fighting for the last 4 hours isn't anything to...
Something's coming, sir. Something very angry.
Okay, you know what? Credit where it's due. I let out an audible, oh shit, walking directly into Big Chungus here. I legit wasn't expecting him. But even that small burst of joy withers and dies on the vine as I fire enough bullets into him to stock an Arkansian doomsday prepper bunker, with no idea if it's actually doing anything because there's no goddamn feedback for anything. I shoot this hoss for 3 minutes straight, my fingers slowly constricting tighter and tighter around my mouse before giving up and checking a Let's Play. Turns out you have to shoot him in his, back lips. Is there perhaps an indication that this needed to be done? Something nasty and pulsing that maybe emerges and clearly signals this is the weak point? Perhaps an idle animation where the giant protects it with his hands? No, because why would there be? This is Jericho, where you just have to fucking guess! And it keeps going in the next area. It's another gigantic space full of enemies that can bullseye you unless you shut the gate they spawn out of. This requires using Jones and finagling with sight lines to jump to the far right gladiator, where you again have to painstakingly move the center of the screen over everything until the icon for the telekinesis pops up. Your squad keeps shooting the enemies while you do this, by the way, so there's a chance you might lose the jump point you need until the enemy respawns. Once they're all gone, the game directs you to use Billy to cross the gap. Luckily, I'm acclimated to this game's bullshit now and know this is going to be a QTE, so I just breeze through it. Oh, you son of a bitch! Once I'm across, I jump on the switch expecting something to happen, either have this be all I need to do or watch my squad mates hustle to hit the switches over on the other side.
The marks on the floor say we should stand on these. The question is, do we trust them?
Oh, come on, please. I spin my mouse wheel until it's hot to get the squad to move, but nothing. Still thinking about the scripting thing with the gate, I restart the checkpoint and wait, what do you mean we're all the way back here? Fuck you! Kill Big Boy again, do this fight again, flub the QTE once more with feeling, back here. Come on! I consult the Let's Play again. They're able to get the Jerichos to move, somehow. The mouse wheel continues to do nothing. I then think to go to the options menu and check the key bindings again, where I see... You did not tell me I could do this game! It has never come up before this! You never need to do it again! What is even happening anymore? A few more firefights later, we meet Vicus face to face.
New guests. Have you come to join the feast? There's plenty for all.
No, in fact, I would like to leave the feast, and this game while I'm at it.
Why, this isn't another batch of outsiders come to ruin our party, is it? Oh, I love your kind more than any other. The sport is almost as satisfying as the flesh.
I got first dibs on the fat man.
He's all yours. I'm not getting anywhere near him.
And what's this? You bring witches with you too? You honor me. It's been so long since I tasted of both sexes.
Phrasing, boom!
Sir, the construction of this floor, sir.
Let's begin, shall we?
It's a trap, sir!
Cole, you can slow down time. You know he's about to do something. Be a friend and utilize that skill. Alright, yeah, Coliseum, right. Vicus has apparently turned his adoring audience into cardboard cutouts that clip through the textures because trying to render out a whole crowd of models on 360 and PS3 hardware would have caused the game to collapse into a singularity. I wipe the floor with a bunch of goons and a few mini-bosses and then have to deal with the governor himself. This fight is actually not terrible. I mean, it's annoying, sure, having to constantly pick up your dumb AI companions who just stand there and let the gladiator drop the hammer on them. But the objective of the fight is clear: shoot Vicus in his orifice, and jump between the squad to make sure that all 6 of them aren't clumped together in one spot by splitting the attention of the gladiator and the governor. They actually let someone with a basic understanding of game design work on this bit. Imagine that!
There it is!
What now? Do we go through?
Where else can we go?
Finally, Jericho is about to jump to Sumerian times, which means we're near the end. Please, Clive, Mercurysteam, I beg you, give me something. I step out of the time vortex and approach a monumental temple. Surely an epic final leg of the journey awaits me inside. Part of me is nervous, because I'm so tired of the monotonous combat, the repetitive character barks, the clunky movement, the scripting breaking. But there has to be something cool in here. There has to be. This final chapter lasts 20 minutes. We're told through Jones that we have to gather all the disparate pieces of the priests onto Darunu to close the breach and seal the Firstborn, then the squad gets split up again via teleport. The game at least has the decency to give me Abby to rescue Jones, who I have to flail around with to figure out what I'm supposed to interact with one more time, just for tradition's sake. Rather than plunging into the depths of the temple, showing the exhausted squad reaching the limits of their powers and mental faculties in the final stretch of their nightmarish journey, I'm shuffled through a series of micro-chapters that are all just a few rooms apiece. Each one contains a boss fight that are true to form, monotonous, and poorly designed. Shoot this guy. Futz with Jones' terrible astral projection controls. Shoot other guy.
Miss me? Let's stick together this time.
Shoot the corpses. Shoot this guy. Shoot that guy.
Can we stick together now?
Destroy fly hives. Shoot final two guys until they die. We are doing battle with Sumerian god priests to determine the fate of the world. How am I this bored? Once we reassemble Mesopotamian Frankenstein here, all that's left is to close the portal. The team takes a moment to reflect.
I will bind myself to the breach. Once the gateway is closed, we will sleep until we are called on to guide our brothers and sisters once again.
Will we dream?
It is a dreamless sleep. And in joining us, you will share in the knowledge of all who have come before you, and be one with them.
I guess this is it. It's been a pleasure serving with you, Xavier.
Hold on to me, Frank.
Ross, can you hear me?
I'm here.
What's gonna happen to you?
I don't know. Whatever it is, can it be much worse than this?
Are you scared?
Are you?
No.
Simone, are you okay?
I'm okay, sir.
I'm sorry I brought you into this. You deserve better. Would you like to pray with me?
I'm an atheist, sir.
I beg your pardon, Cole? I beg your finest fucking pardon? That statement is so out of pocket it briefly causes Delgado's few brain cells to start working again.
You believe that bullshit about a dreamless sleep? Am I the only one that's been paying attention?
Look, I understand your apprehension, but...
What about the others? The Templars? The Centurion? They're not dreaming. They're not one with the great beyond. They're losing their minds in purgatory, exactly where we're gonna find ourselves when he closes that breach. That bastard is lying through his gold fucking teeth.
What are you suggesting?
We fight. If I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna die with my hands around the throat of whatever waits on the other side.
You know, Delgado's actually got a good point, and holy shit, there's some actual follow-up to an earlier character beat, Stop the Presses!
Black, secure Delgado!
What if he's right? Something doesn't make sense.
I gave you an order.
Damn it, Paul. Would you listen to me?
I'm the ranking officer here.
No, you're not.
What the hell do you think you're doing, Ross? He's going to destroy everything. There's a whole world outside full of innocent people. You think your life isn't worth saving that?
I think he's right, Paul.
Have you lost your fucking mind?
Betrayed, and everything you love in the world is lost. Everything I love is right here.
Okay, but you legitimately did not have to do that, Delgado. What the fuck? Through the bubble, we arrive in the Firstborn's lair. It's a small space, but I'm sure that what's beyond the light is some wild shit and crazy... This tiny room is the grand finale. I automatically hate the Firstborn because he looks like a cross between the Star Child from Mass Effect 3 and that Hooked on a Feeling dancing baby. Then he just fucking ices Jones and Cole with no build-up in a last-ditch attempt for some story pathos, but I just don't care anymore. The tooltip tells me that the Firstborn is immune to firearms. Cool, fine, figured as much. The steps to defeat the Firstborn, who, remember, is a literal creation of God himself, are as follows. 1. Get lightly zapped by him a bunch of times, despite him using that exact same power to turn Jones and Cole into smears on the floor a minute ago. 2. Follow the tooltip that says you need to counter the Firstborn's powers with your own. Rapidly switch between your remaining squad to figure out who the counter is to the lightning attack. 3. Fail to figure out a counter, get wiped. 4. Vent frustration in the corner via screaming for a few minutes. 5. Redo fight and just start mashing buttons. Discover that the counter to the lightning bolt is Abby's force push. Yell, "That makes no sense," at full volume at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night in your office. 6. Switch to Rawlings and use his heal on the Firstborn to counteract a fiery miasma attack. Once again, yell, "That makes no sense," at full volume. 7. Switch to Delgado and counter the Firstborn's fire snake with your own. 8. Switch to Church and use her mortal blood magic to ensnare a primal being who has existed since the dawn of creation. 9. Watch as Leech does your job for you for some goddamn reason. 10. Laugh maniacally as the squad escapes and the game cuts to credits with no closure, epilogue, or denouement of any sort. 11. Curse the developers as their names scroll past. Mercurysteam ran out of something. Time, money, patience, or some combination thereof. Maybe they figured that there'd be less opportunities to screw things up from a design standpoint if there was just less game to design. Maybe you think I've been a little too mean to Mercurysteam given whose name is on the cover and part of the title. I won't deny I'm biased as a fan of Barker's work. It's true that I can't let him off the hook entirely. He's the sole writing credit on the game that I can find, which means that unless proven otherwise, I have to blame him for the lackluster dialogue and the glaring walking plot hole that is Cole's ability to mess with time. Future Katen here. Again. Past me should have done more legwork. One Brian Gomez is listed as a creator next to Clive on the game's IMDb page and on Moby Games. And in the game's actual credits. Look, I was completely checked out by the time these rolled, okay? Gomez's resume includes mostly licensed properties, and frankly, pinning the totality of Jericho's writing problems on him wouldn't be fair. It'd be like blaming a bad dinner solely on Reginald the prep guy when you know Gordon Ramsay is also in the kitchen. Anyway, back to the wrap-up. But here's the thing. It is glaringly obvious that there were massive chunks of this game that were excised, presumably for budget or deadline reasons, and Barker's ideas serve no purpose if they're left on the cutting room floor. Given how long some of his novels are, I'm inclined to believe that he wouldn't have let things be removed if there was time to make them work. And at the end of the day, he's a writer, and the most glaring issues with Jericho aren't the writing. It's the piss-poor shooting, the clunky movement, the cavernous, badly designed levels, the dumb enemy and squad AI, the lack of clear communication and direction to the player, the game's scripting outright breaking and not working at times, and the shitty boss fights. Those are game design problems, and those are definitely Mercurysteam's fault. So what did we learn from all this? Well, personally, I learned to never give Mercurysteam the benefit of the doubt again. But more importantly, it's that having even a well-respected, proven creative name attached to your project isn't a guarantee of success. It doesn't mean that the game attached to it won't be a half-assed, poorly designed mess. Now I understand why it took Barker so long to be willing to lend his name to anything video game related. Fingers crossed that the Hellraiser revival devs understand the assignment. The reveal trailer seems to suggest so, but we'll see. As for Jericho...